Alright folks, welcome to this video. In this episode, I've just ended the old video there at the abandoned farm, and now look, I found this old wall structure in the middle of the forest, and I'm just wondering what it is. So we're just continuing this adventure on for the last scene. I think maybe what this has been here is an old boundary to an abandoned little house, which is probably no longer here. Because literally the walls, it's just everywhere I look through the trees there's walls. So that gets my abandoned exploring sentences going, folks. Yeah, I think this has been like a little abandoned house up here at one time. This is crazy folks, real adventures, look. Maybe this was out on the wild hilltop at one time, and maybe it wasn't inside a wood, but now it's deep in the forest, miles away from any path. Look at it, it still stands here, weathered. It's crazy to see this, it's like little rooms almost, which has been built. Yeah, I think it has been a bit of a house or a settlement at one time, maybe for folk droving animals. Look, see there's a passageway there at one time where you could have walked round the end, and there must have been an entrance in through. There's a blue pipe running down here which is a water supply for maybe a house, or it could also be for some troughs for the animals. But look, this has been a little middle section. I'm thinking it's been some little house at one time though. See, maybe the stones from a place like this were reused at a later date for that farm and stuff we saw in the last video. It's near enough to here that stones might have been reused. Whoa, these walls are just so old. Again, I'm not even sure when this dates back to, but it could be 1600s again, I'm saying. But it could even be older, who knows? Look at that, there's so many metal buckets and stuff and paint tins over there. Yeah, it's this has been little rooms or something for keeping animals. That was so random to find that in the wood, folks. I just saw one little wall and thought, that's strange. And then when I came in here now, it's just a complex maze of walls. It's that bit there's been an outside area, and then I think this bit here has been roofed off, little sheds or buildings. I'll see if there's any other historical wonders around here. Strange how it's just buckets and tins. Oh, that could be if the timber was getting done around here, and sometimes they just used to dump the rubbish wherever they were. And also there could be game keeping and stuff, gamies and farmers kicking about. Look, there's been something here, folks. What is this? What is this? Again, I don't mean the blue pipe, I think that's for a trough or a house, but look, there's a wooden box here. Look, with these metal bits, it's been a higher wooden box at one time, leading off from that tree down to there. It's weird because it's got an end on it, but then down here it looks like it leads off that way. I wonder what that has been. It's almost like a wooden... Would it have been like a feed trough? If this was for animals here, the bit I was thinking, and that could have been where they used to feed them at the ground there. Or maybe it's something else. Who knows, folks? Get in the comments if you know. I always love to hear your feedback. But look, there's no doubt that's something which was worth seeing. So once again in this episode we're asking more questions of history, what was it and why was it here? I might never know. But I can also see there's been another wall leading along the back here. It's like this back bit here has been separate, like a little outbuilding or a shed. And like all these rusty drums and that, they'll have been here for 60 or 70 years, maybe more. Probably since this forest here was clear felled the last time, and since then it's been replanted. Oh look, historical wonder alert folks. I just keep on finding more history all the time. Look at this, it's an old boiler. Wow. That's so cool. It's like an old boiler pot chamber. And you would have the water in there. It would be the other way around obviously. They would have the water inside it and then underneath would be like a furnace kind of almost. They would put in their wood and their coal and boil up the water. And like they used to use that a lot in like wash houses and places like that. And they used them for all sorts of stuff back in the day. This is a very dangerous bit in the wood folks, because look, it looks like a small fissure. But when you actually see how deep it is, it's like 4 foot deep. If you went in there, it would just squeeze you. You'd fall in and be stuck. Here's an interesting thing here too folks. Look, that pipe is actually not where it originally was, because the water would never be flowing uphill into it. So it looks like that pipe has washed in from further up here. It's obviously disused now. Like, what's the chances I've come down here and found this house and now that? I was just trying to figure out where the road originally came to this house, and it feels like it almost came down here. But is that just because there's no trees here now? It is interesting folks. This waterway we're seeing here would have been the feed for that farm that we saw in the last episode. Again, to the laid sluice mechanism. Oh, it's so far washed out in there, it's crazy. It's probably no safe to go up this way. I really want to go both ways folks. Look, you can't even tell there's water under there. That's just a lethal situation right there. So I was just thinking maybe those stones in that building we just saw was a really early farm before the other one that we saw down there that I thought was from like the 1600s in the last episode. Okay, maybe there was a small settlement up here. The amount of time that's passed since a building like that was built, like, it's hard to just see exactly what's there because it gets covered up every year by the undergrowth and the trees push it apart and knock down the walls. Probably originally it had a wooden roof, and anything like that is just gone. Anyway folks, I'm back at the top of the road, so I'll end the video here. It's been a cool wee adventure. Look at the view down there, it's just magnificent. But yeah, I'll end this short video here. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one very soon.